Hi guys, do you want to see the funniest thing I've ever bought for my YouTube videos? Here it comes. I told you I was going to buy a red light to put outside my studio door so that my family wouldn't barge in anymore while I was filming. Because this week I actually made 8 videos to record the last vlog I did, and every time I got interrupted or my kids were standing outside the door making noise, well, not making noise, but they were having a loud chat, and my microphone picked every sound up, so eventually when I played back the video I could hear them just as loudly as I could hear me. So that's why I bought this rather psychedelic red light. And the great thing is that once we put it on the wall over the studio door, you won't be able to see the light itself from the living room, but you will be able to see the red flashes. So anyone who walks in can see immediately that I'm filming. So let's hope it helps, because I love my kids and my husband, but having them home all day long does pose a couple of challenges when you're trying to record videos. So I had to share it with you guys. Right, so I made myself a little pretty because today we're going to take our daughter for a little trip over to the new hometown, to her new hometown. She's moving out, and it's rather funny because yesterday I was talking to a friend from the United States, and it turns out that in the US, things are very different from how things are here in the Netherlands when students move out, you know. In the US, you just go to a dorm. There is this apartment building on campus or belonging to university or campus or college, and that's where kids sleep and live. Or basically, they often don't really have their own rooms. They share rooms sometimes, don't they? Well, here in the Netherlands, it's very different. We actually really have to look for a room. There are a couple of apartment buildings. Let's begin to say there are a couple of colleges in our country that do have campus where students live. They're all rather internationally oriented, and also I have a feeling a little bit more business oriented. I'm not 100% sure about that, but at least internationally oriented. But that's not what she's going. She's going to a Dutch university. Then you have to go find her a room. So there are a couple of apartment buildings that are rented solely to students. So where there are lotteries for them. So you actually really, you say you want to join, and then you will be rewarded a number of entrants, and then there will be a lottery who gets first choice. So the first choice, the person with first choice can say if he wants it or not. And if not, the person with number 2 will get the chance to see the apartment and say yes or no. And with apartment, you should take that a little lightly, because an apartment in this case means a room. Sometimes it has their own shower or a very tiny kitchenette, but usually it's just a room. And then the shower and the kitchen and everything is shared with a bunch of students, which we think is really fine, because that way you do have a little social life, not even, you will run into people and have your daily chat. But there is also 2 other possibilities. So what we have here is student houses, and a student house is like a regular house, like a house that I live in, or a house, usually it's in the city centre, in the cheaper areas of town. That's where there are house owners that own tens or hundreds of houses in one city or a couple of cities. And they buy a house, then they divide it up into rooms. So one living room becomes 2 or 3 bedrooms, and the floors above it also are either the bedrooms are kept like they are, or they will be, there will be a better division in the space. because usually Dutch houses have like 2 decent bedrooms, small in relation compared to what my US friends have, but for Dutch standards, decent. But then there is always one room that would be too small for a walk-in closet in the United States. Like that would be like 2 by 3 meters or something. But those rooms get rented out as well. So, and also you have to know that the state of those houses is not really perfect, far from it. So they're not always very safe, especially electricity is a thing. And there is just lots going on in those houses where you have to really keep your eyes open, and also landlords are horrible. They can be bastards. And then there is another way of renting a room, which we don't really think is a good idea. That's where families or people living in a regular house, they rent one of their bedrooms for a student. And we've seen some pretty remarkable ads already, like a man, 50 years old, single, was looking for a nice lady to keep, for a nice student girl to keep him company. She's not going there. I know she's not going there. If I would take her there, I might consider buying her a taser or something to keep him out of the way. Horrible. I used to live with, I lived with a landlady, but only for a very short period of time. The poor lady was demented. We didn't know at the time. Neither did she, of course. But even her own kids didn't realize it. I was the one who identified the problem at some point in time because she was about to blow up the house. But anyway, when I lived there, it was kind of, she would peek through the keyhole, so I would stick in the key on my side, on my end, and eventually I started putting a little piece of paper with some tape over it. And that made a pest. She made me get it off because she said the tape was going to ruin her door, the paint on her door. And then later I heard, because there was one other girl who lived there too, and she told me that every morning after I left for university, that old lady would take out her key and get into my room and snoop around. That was a really horrible feeling, so I wanted to get away from there as soon as I could. And then I ended up in an apartment building with lots of students, and that was great. We had a pub on the ground floor, and that was a really nice place because they served really cheap beer and wine, so it was always a good atmosphere. And yeah, that's where there were a lot of parties there. So I am, if I could, if it were possible, I would definitely like my daughter to be in a place like that, but she's going to a different town or different apartment buildings. I don't think any of them has a pub on the ground floor, unfortunately. So we are trying to get her to an area that's lively and either very close to the university and a bit quiet, or to a lively area where she won't have to go very far to get to pubs and everything, because you know she's been locked up for a year. So we really want her to, as soon as everything's opened up again, we really want her to be able to go out and have a ball. That's what those years are for. You have to work your ass off, but also you really have to party and get to know the world and get to know lots and lots of people. So I'm looking forward to going, and we're going to see a house. We didn't even see any photos of the inside, and when my daughter called the landlord, he said, "Oh, I won't bother sending you any pictures. You will have to come and look anyway, and then you get to see it. So I don't ever post any pictures." He sounds like a bully. Maybe I should publish this video after we've been to see it. He sounds a bit like a bully. But that's the thing. It's always people with lots and lots of money who only care about ever getting payment, and they don't really care about the rest. They don't even mind who lives there as long as the parents are, will make up for any unpaid bills. The second house we're going to is one of my favorites. It's very close to the university, and it's got a really lovely room that has an old wood floor that comes out of a pub. It looks really nice. the house is ugly, but I think the atmosphere in the house looks, on the pictures, looks very great. And also she's been in touch with one of the boys who lives there. It's a boy house, but it's not a boy house, but it's a house where there are four or five boys at the moment. She would be the first girl. And then the other house we're going to is a very interesting location. It's in a very lively neighborhood. If she chooses that one, I'll definitely head over there to stay over and to go out every now and then, because the theatre is very close, and a concert hall is very close, and a bookshop, and lots and lots and lots of Asian superstores that we don't have here. We only have a very tiny one. So there's lots. It's in a multicultural area, so there is lots of different people. There's coffee shops outside. Coffee shops is not a coffee shop, but it's somewhere you can buy pot and smoke pot. Not too sure about that one. There is I think 3 or 4 piercing and tattoo studios in that street. So also that, please don't, we said you also have to work, to help pay for your study. So keep yourself representative. But hey, she's moving out. That's the scary thing, right? You hope that you've raised them in a way that they will think twice before they do something, or even thrice. But hey, my job's done. The last job that I'm doing, no, of course, your job's never done. But yeah, when you move out your kid, you want to make sure she's in a safe place. You want to make sure she's properly installed. So we're going to buy her a fridge if she needs it and stuff like that. But then, that's it. The rest is up to her from then on, and every choice she makes, she will have to bear the burden, or celebrate the victory of it. So that's what we're doing this afternoon. Oh yeah, the last house that I told you about is a really good area, but the house is so rickety. We took a closer look at the photos, and my husband is a building expert, and he's already seen there are damp issues inside the house, and there's wallpaper, but they stuck it over the electricity. What's it called? The electricity pipes. They just pasted the paper all over that. It looks horrible, and it's a room with no sunlight. The room has a back door to the patio, but the patio is open to a parking space, and the parking space is behind an apartment building, and there are lots and lots of containers there, and so it's like the trash alley. That's where the door comes out. We don't like that, because the house has no front door. The front door has been shut completely forever. It will never open again. It's gone. There is a window there, and there is a letterbox, but there is no door. I don't know how they got a permission to do that, but so the front door is at the back, next to the door of the room that our daughter is going to look at. But that means, and this is where I as a mother really don't want her to get that room, because in order to get to the house at all, she will always have to go day and night. She will have to go behind the apartment block, which is a fairly big walk because it's a full street. And then at the end of it, there is a tiny alley, the trash alley, where she'll have to go by foot or by bike. And then she has to cross a parking space, trash alley / parking space, and also the place where 2 or 3 big stores will have trucks in the morning to unload the orders for the shops. So then she will have to go there, and it's dark, it's lonely, no one can see you there because there's only back ends of houses and shops and offices in that space, so there's no one there. It's not going to happen. I've urged her to take a look at other rooms, and I've already advised her that in some cases it is perfectly decent, if only you do it well ahead in time, to cancel an appointment. So far she hasn't. She really likes the location, and it is That is to say, if you have a front door, you step out into a very lively street. There is no front door. She will always have to go behind the back. I don't like that. I don't like it. Anyway, the hardest thing of the day today is going to be to let her make her own choices. Yeah. I still have to keep my mouth shut. So I'll just talk to you instead in a little video. Right, so how is this interesting to you? Well, maybe not at all. And then I hope you will have shoved the video forward to this point. I have finished my project plan. Yay! And I'm really enthusiastic. I'm really happy. The thing was, I knew the plan was great, but in the past 6 months, I think, I've seen many artist colleagues stop doing the Patreon account. I got a little nervous about that. So I read in their blogs and I contacted a few and I said, why? What's going on? What's so bad about Patreon? So I got a lot of tips about, well, I didn't get a lot of tips, but I got their stories where they just felt burnt out because it was too much to do next to their own art or their jobs, or, you know, it was just too much. And the thing is that if you want to make videos regularly for a community and you have a promise down, so you've got these like dates or these promises, people expect you to live up to that, of course. And I've been thinking about this a long time. How can I do this? How can I actually pull this one off? Or is it going to be a disappointment, which I don't want, not for me, but also not for you. So what I did is I made a schedule where I put all the parts of the plan, every action I need to take to bring together my plan. I put that in a anonymous month overview so that I can see how many days am I going to need to do it, and which days is it best to launch every item of the plan. And I ended up with a workable system. But then there was still something gnawing in my head. It's like, it's much. From nothing to doing all this, it's much. Maybe it's too much. I haven't made that many reviews lately or demos. So I was kind of scared that I might not pull that one off. So yesterday evening I sat down with my husband and showed him all the work, I showed him the plan. And he said, you know what? Can't you just split it up and start in 2 rounds? So first start the tiers on Patreon that you really want to do and that you feel that can get you started and that can get your people involved into some real life action and into a more interactive way of communicating and making art and inspiring. He said maybe you can start by doing that, and then if it works and if you like it and if it pays off, as in that it still leaves energy, that it does inspire you and me, he said then you can always gear up and put some more tiers on. So that's the only thing that I've left to check out on Patreon, if I can add tiers later. So if I start out with just the few that I want to do. And well, if I do that, if that's possible, I think it is. I've already had a Patreon installed a couple of years ago. I've just never really got it going for the simple reason that I was hesitating. At the time I was teaching online as well, and I was about to make a transit from doing online courses to Patreon, but I was not sure if I could do it at the time. I was really, really tired. Things had happened in our private life that that left me, well, I think at the time I was practically burnt out. But so I'm really glad I didn't do it, because if I had launched it at the time, I think it would have become a really big disappointment. So I feel much more, despite COVID, or maybe thanks to COVID, because I'm here, and I'm sitting here. I was planning to find a job last year. I was applying for jobs. I at that time I was like, I wanted to do my art and I wanted jobs, and I didn't want to do art for an outside world. I wanted to do it just for myself so I could develop it further. And then COVID came, so I didn't find a job, but I did keep making art. And then I just gradually, the feeling started to come back that I really wanted to have this art be my job. So, and then, well, slowly but surely, a plan came together and it worked out. So what I have here is when I made my monthly schedule, so the potential schedule for how I could run it, I filled it out into this is April, this is May. So I said to myself, okay, now let's just pin it down. What are the dates going to be? So I have dates this weekend. So today, this afternoon is for my girl. And this evening I'm taking off because I know I'll be tired. I'm a little bit hyped up. So this evening is just for tea and a book. I have such a lovely book. Oh God, I don't have it here. I'm really going to share it with you. I think I'm reading one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It's gorgeous. So I'm hoping for a well-written end. Okay, so tomorrow or Sunday or both, I'm going to film a little project. My first Patreon video that I'm doing for you that belongs to the project. And that's going to be a video that will be available for free. Because I just want to use that video to explain to you guys what I'm going to do and what I am doing the thing for that I'll be showing you in video. So I'm filming that this weekend. So, and then I will show that video to you sometime later. I'm not yet sure about that date. That's the only date that's not yet fixed. But then on the 8th of May, I will start my project. So that's a project where you can join in and have a lot of fun together. I hope, no, I'm pretty sure that if you do join in, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's the 8th of May. It's a Saturday. So do you think, I figured that if I release videos for the interactive Patreon tier, where we can do things together, that it might be a good idea to launch the video on a Saturday. So maybe I will launch it for me on a Friday night. So people in the US could view it on Friday, but have the whole weekend to work on it. Because I feel that what I want to do is make videos for you that will get you into action, that will get you do stuff. You will hear all about that later. So, but I figured if you have a whole weekend ahead of you, you might have time to do it. Do you think that's a good idea? I'd love to know, because this is my thinking, but maybe you're like, maybe it's better having it out on a Wednesday or a Monday or something. But so I figured I was going to launch the videos on Saturdays. So there is a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And I think that for my YouTube viewers, tier 2 and 3 are most interesting. Tier 2 is not interactive and tier 3 is interactive. That's where you actually really take part in the project. You get to become part of the project. So that's going to be really nice. So for that tier, I am planning a video out on the 8th of May on Saturday and on the 15th. And there's going to be a live chat. So every month there will be a live chat about the project of that month, but also just a chat, just a moment where we can get together. So we have to find a time to do that, and that will be, I will talk about that to you guys. I am in this group where people come together from all over the United States, and I do, and someone from New Zealand does. And here, over here, it's 10 in the evening. So I'm in that group from 10 till midnight. And then everyone that I know can join. I could do that. I wouldn't mind spending one evening a month in a very late chat. So I think it would be suitable for, well, nearly everyone, nearly. But I think I'm really looking forward to this part of the project because when I was teaching online, I really missed the interaction. So I'm looking forward to that. And then a little while later, something will pop out of the project. And I'm not going to tell you that now. You'll be hearing all about that later. But do keep the dates in mind. Well, what else do we have? I think we're going to stop talking because I've talked to you for 25 minutes already. And you're up to date. You know all about my light. So from now on, we will no longer be disturbed. Well, not by the kids and the husband, that is. The cats were not impressed by this and the dog just started barking. I hope that one stops or else I can still not make the movie. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed me chatting, and I'll be heading over to YouTube right now because I think I have some comments to reply to that I haven't been able to yet because we were so busy trying to find a room for our kid. So that's what I'm going to do now and upload this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I am looking forward to seeing you very soon. It's going to be, well, before the 8th of May. I think it's going to be well, let's see. I don't know. Over here we are entering the May holidays, which is 2 weeks that, you know, my entire family will be home and not working. So I'm going to have to see when I have the time to record the video and upload it. So that's why I'm not pinning myself down to a specific date. I don't want to disappoint you when perhaps it's a day later or earlier. So, okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you again in my next video, and that's where you'll be hearing more and more and more about the plan. See you then, and have a really great weekend. Bye.